Christina, what did you think? Right decision or no?
Yeah, I do find it to be the correct decision. And I know why people are arguing for it. We heard the words right on the first yellow card, 100% yellow card, right? Stone cold, I think, is what Grella used it. You're balancing the risk versus the reward of allowing that play, and you have an attack, you have advantageous opportunity. Now, the second one, I love it because you guys are asking, well, if he didn't get the first one, would he probably have gotten the yellow there? And now we go back to a word that Nigel just said is management. And that's what we're looking for the referees on, management, right? So here, is he going for the ball? The answer is no. Does the referee have options in this particular play at the location of where the ball is in the play, the number of defenders that we're still covering, and then how much do you put the player at risk? You know, when you talk about all of those things, you know, yes, it's in the attacking half. There's still 3 other players covering. He's still in the far left. And it doesn't put him so much at risk that this is where we want referees to manage the game, particularly when we're looking at the time and the balance. Now, does that punishment of that second yellow red card really, really outweigh the crime that was committed? And we would say the answer is no. So I do think it's the correct decision from the referee.
Christina.
Here we go.
They're both yellow cards for starters, for me. But I think that when you talk about managing the game as a referee, I liked it that he didn't give the second yellow because of the timing of it. Because that it's 5 minutes into the game, it's the most intense part of the game, they happen within a minute of each other. But I will bet anything on it that if that second one happens in the 60th, 70th minute, they give him the second yellow card. I think the only reason why he doesn't get that yellow card is because it's 5 minutes in, he's just had 2 of them, 2 bad moments. He came over and it looked like he said to him, hey, next one, you're gone. I think if that first one happens and the second one happens in the 70th minute, the second one is a 100% yellow card. Not given the circumstance of that they happen 2 minutes apart from each other.
Yeah, Grella, I would argue that you're correct on that, right? When we take it and everyone's like, and I know I was messing with Kaz off screen, he's just like, so where in the laws is it about like the minute of play? And that goes into referee's analysis. And there's obviously no minute of play, but there's this management, there's the feel for the game. You know, I think from footballers, and many of you guys talk about it all the time, it's just like, is there a feel? You know, do the referees understand the ebbs and flows and what's acceptable for football at that moment? And Grella, I think you hit on the head. I think there's an acceptable to manage that second one and use those options. And I think the game accepts it at that point. The players accept it at the point. You look on the 65th, the 70th, the 75th minute, the game doesn't accept it at that point, and the players don't accept it at that point if you don't give that yellow card, if that situation was to happen at that time.
But the problem is now what we just set a precedent for is that I could smash someone twice in the first 2 minutes of the game. What? I could smash someone twice and get 2 yellow cards a minute apart, and it would by game management, it's not a.
How do you get 2? No, but this is what we want to encourage, because at the end of the day, this is just, I would say, common sense refereeing. Like the first one,
was
100%
risky,
yellow.
though, right?
It is risky.
It's not. The second one's a yellow card.
It's risky, but it's not. For me, I can understand where the referee's saying, listen, behave yourself, next one's on it. Because I've been in that situation. I've been booked first 30 seconds or a minute into a game. Might be late again, a minute, shush.
We know.
Might be late again.
I don't believe that.
Might be late again, a minute later, but good referees.
And then a minute after that as well.
But this is what we want to encourage. Good referees would say, listen, you're risking it. Next one, you're going to get booked and you're going to get sent off. You want these referees to have a bit of personality and be so robotic and rely on VAR and this and that. So I think for me, some people might not like it, and probably only Arsenal fans don't. But if it was the other way around, I'd be defending Arsenal players as well.
It's a tough one.
You don't want that. You don't want that red card in that game that early. I think for me, in the circumstances, I think it's good refereeing.
Well, another interesting thing that happened later on in the game was the penalty for Arsenal, Christina. And some people say maybe this is a little bit soft, and maybe the referee was making up for the decision that he didn't then give the yellow card to Andrich to get him sent off, and then he scored. And they gave this penalty when maybe you could have given it, maybe you couldn't. What did you think?
So, yeah, this is not a clear and obvious error. So VAR, let me just clarify, will never intervene in these kinds of plays because there's too much contact that's happening there, right? Particularly, you see that first angle, there's a clip on the boot there, and there's interaction. And I know TT was talking on the other show and about, like, why are you making that challenge there from behind? You're never going to get to that ball. And I'm not saying that's the football understanding side of it. Now, the laws of the game understanding side of it is by putting yourself into that situation, lunging and initiating that contact when you have no play in the ball. You are now demanding that referee to make that decision, and live play, the decision is penalty. Now we got to get rid of this kind of concept of making up for an earlier play. I can promise you at the higher level of professional officiating, you do what we call catch and release. You make a decision, you have to release the energies associated with it. You're refereeing every single moment because you're not being critiqued, and you are to a certain extent the overall, but you're being really judged on every single decision and whether you got it correct or you got it incorrect. So ultimately, I think for the referee on the field at that moment, the decision of penalty is correct. I would probably support that, and I would support that, even if we're saying we're not having VAR intervention in there because there's too much contact. And if he feels it in his gut, he understands it as so, and he calls it, then we'll support it from the refereeing
Nobody
standpoint.
likes this one because Madueke could stay up and he doesn't. He goes down. But in today's game, when you feel the contact, you got to go down. So that's a lot of people don't like it. People that play football, I think, don't like this penalty. I don't like this penalty because it's soft. But when you put into the calculation what Tillman's doing, he's in the wrong spot. He's on the wrong side of him. He's making a crazy tackle. It's a stupid challenge. And then the contact is there. In today's game with the VAR, that's 100% penalty. Whether you like it or you don't like it. I don't like it, but it's a penalty.
Do you think if Madueke had stayed on his feet, Christina, the penalty would have still been given?
No, I mean, if he stays on his feet, then the impact doesn't occur, right? So that is kind of where, and I get it, people say all the time, when you feel it, you should go down, the ref's going to give it to you, right? So there's that balance of the overall impact and was it quote unquote soft, but at the same time here, there's a lot of connection to it. But if you make contact, right, and it is a hard enough contact and or it's not, and you continue your feet, I think, you know, probably a great example is Messi, right? In his younger years, he would not go down. He would continue to play through contact in the penalty area, and you wouldn't call it because he continued to play it. But you're trying not to encourage people to go down, but at the same time, as a referee, you have to. It's really hard to manage players like that who do go down soft and or the players who don't go down soft and play through it and maybe don't reap the benefits of that penalty because they don't go down.
Christina, I just want to say, last Champions League night we ended up arguing. I thought the referee was fantastic today. I completely disagree with the catch and release method, but we'll pick that up another time. The referee was good today.
Christina.
I did hear your, I heard his, and it's okay. We're never arguing. It's just a nice British chat, that's all.
Christina, thank you so much. We're going to have you back in just a second, so we'll be back with you in just a moment. But let's hear from Mikel Arteta after the match. Here he is.
Mikel, 1-1 in the end. How do you analyse the game?
Well, the game had very different periods. We started the game quite well, had a massive chance with Martinelli. We hit the crossbar. In those moments you score, the game changes completely. We had certain dominance, but we didn't finish enough actions, and that allows certain counter-attack, especially when we were hitting the box, and they are quite dangerous with that. We wanted to start very strong in the second half, and we've done completely the opposite. Start not paying enough attention on the kickoff, which we already discussed before the match. So then they have a clear header, and after that they score the goal. And then it's obviously game on, and the tide changes completely. So after that we had to stay emotionally very composed. We improved in certain areas. With the changes, I think we improved as well. We had more presence, more threat on the wings, and at the end we found a way to draw the match.
That must have been so frustrating at the start of the second half, because I saw your team go into a huddle. It looked like everyone is preparing to switch on, and then it still just didn't quite happen.
But there are the details. Everybody is so prepared in every action, and we knew that they had certain routines there because they've done it a few days ago in the Bundesliga 3 times in a row. And we showed those images. But then actually you have to see it and do it. And we haven't done it, and we paid the price for it.
Must be happy as well with the impact that Noni Madueke had coming off the bench as well.
Yeah, he was really good. Straight away, he changed the rhythm, the dynamic, the threat, and he had a big impact in the results.
So how do you think then this will tee up for the second leg at the Emirates, Grella? You think Arsenal still feel confident that they'll get through in this tie?
Yeah, it's what they've been doing for large parts of the season. A lot of the games that they coast through the game, they control the game. It's I think you said like a boa constrictor earlier. Like they just suffocate you, and they can turn it on when they want to. They were good at set pieces. They all these things, and going back home 1-1. Like Troy said earlier too, I think Leverkusen, that was the best we can see of them. That was the best. They put together a fantastic performance, and it was enough just to get them 1-1. And I think Arsenal was playing at 50%, and they're going to turn it up back at home. You would imagine they're going to go through.
I think this could be great for them throughout for the Premier League, for the Carabao Cup, for the FA Cup, because what Arteta's talking to there, they've given all the players the detail, especially with the kickoff, and then they've not taken it on because maybe the players got a little bit complacent, like, oh, Leverkusen, we should beat these. Oh, after this, maybe it's Bodo. When you start to look, it does happen, doesn't it, Nigel, when you're playing? Sometimes you look 2 or 3 games ahead and you're thinking, just get this one out of the way. I think that could be a real big gut check where we can say to him, hey, if you don't take this seriously at this level, look what happened. He could be on the bus or on the plane tonight and say, hey, look what happened to Man City. Do you want that to be us? Do you want to be in this situation? So I think it could be a great moment for Arsenal and for Arteta to wake up, and Madueke coming in and adding a little bit of a spark. Yeah. Maybe that sparks Saka into life, because he was poor tonight. He looked really steely and beady-eyed, didn't he, at the start? We gave him credit for being locked in. He just forgot to unlock and play.
I think Leverkusen deserve a lot of credit. I thought they were fantastic in the performance today. I personally felt that Arsenal gave it their best, and they were very short today. It makes it very intriguing second leg, going there, the Emirates for Leverkusen. I think they'll be well set. Arsenal still have to be the more aggressive team, where Leverkusen have shown how capable they are to play on the counter-attack and break and cause problems. The interesting dynamic for me is going to be the atmosphere at the Emirates, because if Leverkusen keep it 0-0 for 45 minutes, the Arsenal fans will start to get nervous with everything going on in the whole entire season. Will that affect the players on the pitch? You know, we've had great Arsenal players before who've said about the atmosphere sometimes that the fans can create, and maybe they might start to take risks. I think it's a very interesting and intriguing second leg. I don't think it's a clear-cut